Welcome to Life Coaches Unfiltered, where Desiree, Dory, and Michelle, three life coaches, are here to answer the questions you have, but we're afraid to ask. No fluff, no filters, just real talk to help you navigate life's big challenges. Let's dive in.
Welcome to another episode of Life Coaches Unfiltered. I'm Desiree. We've got Dory and Michelle here, and today we have a hypnotherapist on our team. I mean, she's one of our co-hosts, but today we're going to be talking about what do you guys think about when you hear about hypnotherapy? So for me, it's like the little TikTok, you're getting sleepy, like scenes in a movie, and then people walking around in a trance. But Dory is going to set the real. She's going to tell us really what hypnotherapy is and isn't. And she's going to debunk all of these myths for you. So stay tuned. Life is not always like what the crazy stuff you see in the movies or on TV with people clucking like a chicken. All right. So we are here to get this conversation started. Dory, what do you want us to know about hypnotherapy?
All right, so let me first tell you just really quick what it is. Because I have a lot of people who are, there's so many different myths around hypnosis and that sort of thing, but it is actually a natural state. It is something that people are in all the time. If you've ever seen anybody space out, if you've ever spaced out yourself and just kind of gone, which it actually feels really good if you think about it. If you've ever like zoned out, it feels so nice sometimes, but that's just your mind's way of like taking a break. It's also a way of just it kind of resetting itself. And that's a lot like what hypnosis is. So that's the first thing is people, you can't hypnotize me. And I'm like, you do it to yourself all the time. It's a state of being suggestible. And so it's a really powerful tool. It's something I use. I actually, in our networking group, I go by hypnotherapist in our networking group. I am a coach, but I go by that. It is a tool that I use, but it's usually the thing that bring most people to me is hypnotherapy. And I love it. I'm a firm believer in it. I would be doing it if I wasn't, but it's something that I used myself as a tool for many different things in my life, and that's why I chose to study it was because it had such a significant impact on me.
Awesome. So you talk about hypnotherapy being a tool. Can you talk a little bit about like people think what I think is like you're going to be in a trance walking around, right? So is that, but you're like, no, it's more about letting your brain kind of take a vacation, which
Yes.
ties like Michelle also plans vacations. She has a
There is
business.
that, yes.
Yes. So Dory can take your brain on vacation and Michelle can take the rest of you on vacation. We should just plan a vacation. Okay,
We
enough.
should. In a
Mhm.
trance.
In a trance.
So, Dory, when you hypnotize someone, is it putting them into this trance state?
It is putting them into a relaxed state and into a level whatever level they're comfortable with as well. And here's one thing that as a part of my conversation, especially before the first session, is that number one, they can go whatever level they want. People come to me, they're in the driver's seat. You can hear everything I say. You can relax to a deeper level where I can fade in and out, or you can just totally let go. It's just a matter of the person's comfort level. But the subconscious mind is always listening. It's a thing that's always looking around and scanning. If you're asleep and your dog barks, and I say that because we're animal lovers, um, or you've had a kid like we had a kid last night who had something happen, woke us up. So if you think about like what that's like, that's what's waking you up is your subconscious mind. And I say that because you are in full control of that. You're not in a trance state that you're going to live in forever. It's just not that way. It's a relaxed state where a hypnotherapist gives you suggestions for your greater good. Now, here's the other piece of this too, is that your mind is so powerful, it also can kick out things that it doesn't believe in. And that's what's really, really important is that if someone comes in for hypnotherapy against their will, or like, someone says, if you don't do this, I'm going to break up with you, then you come in and it's not something you really want to do, your subconscious mind will be like, nope, 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 not going to happen, not going to happen. So it's really, really, it's to think that someone's going to be walking around in a trance state all the time is just, not a thing. I think I strayed way off topic. Sorry. I'm very
No,
passionate about this.
that answered my question. Michelle, what?
So people don't walk around like doing dog or cat noises or start pretending that they're cat or a dog. No.
Unless they want to. It's still it's the whole thing about it. It's what you want. I'm not I'm not doing anything for anybody. They're doing, it's your mind. It is your mind. And I can't make you bark or cluck like a chicken or act like a cat unless you want to. A lot of people see the hypnosis shows in Vegas and they see people get on the stage and take off all their clothes. Here's a surprise. Sometimes those people are implanted in the audience. Um, or they're people that just their exhibitionists who really, really want to get on stage. And the hypnos hyp, hypnotist, there we go. There's the word I'm looking for. Knows how to pick up on the right people who are going to be able to do and are in it 100%. Not saying
Mm.
that, you can be, those people are hypnotized. Um, but they're doing things that they are free willing signing up to do. One of the things that, I mean, you think about like the tests that they make them go through, raising their hand, and you can already tell by looking in their eyes who's already like in a trance state. How easy is it going to be to get them in a trance? There's so many different things that they can do, but the bottom line is the people that are on stage have signed up to be on stage. And so you're not going to get a skeptic on the stage. Any good hypnotist would never do that. They would be out of business really quick on their show if they like got all the skeptics on the stage.
Wow. So I'm curious because you said you can tell when someone is in a trance. So what does it look like in their eyes? Because I'm just like, really? You can tell? To
Yeah.
me, I'm like, what does that look like? Because I know when sometimes when you're driving down the road and you just like zone out, but then you
Mhm.
realize that I've reached here. That sounds scary because because it's just like I could have had a crash. So how can you tell that someone is in a trance? I'm very curious now.
So you brought up a good point, and that's one of the things I do tell people really quick is that if someone's like, "Well, you can't hypnotize me," I say, "Have you ever driven somewhere and didn't remember if you stopped at the red light or the stop sign? You were in hypnotic state. Your conscious part, your subconscious part of your mind was driving the car, while the conscious part was off trying to solve whatever it was, or your mind needed a rest." And
Mm,
so that was because subconscious is also where all your automatic behaviors are stored. And so it is the one that takes over and drives the car. But to answer your question about the telling if someone is in trance, I mean, if you've ever like been talking to someone and you can tell they're not fully engaged with you and they just kind of have like this look in their eyes, like there's like the lights are on, nobody's home, or they're just kind of like spaced out or whatever, that's a trance. Um, I and we go into a trance state all throughout the day. I know I do. And like I said, for me, it's like it's kind of a nice state to be in sometimes where you're just kind of like la 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 la. I don't have to like think about anything and you're just, zoned out. And so that's really what it's like and in being able to tell you can tell when someone's going to be pretty like who's going to be able to do it faster.
So basically, what you're saying is when you're in a really boring meeting at work and you start to zone out, they're really just a closet hypnotist.
And they're giving you what, and here's the kicker too, if you think about um, with being in that state, you're highly suggestible. And that's the other piece of this too. What being hypnotized is a state of suggestibility. So when you're in that meeting and you're in that state, be careful because there could be something that whether you consciously or subconsciously are not aware of, and then the person doing it, even if they're a closet hypnotist, um, could deliver a message to you that strikes you and gets into your subconscious, whether it's for your well-being or not. And so, like if you are in a meeting and you are zoned out and someone says something about profitability and the company's profitability being down and all that stuff, your subconscious mind could pick up on something and be like, oh my God, we're about to have layoffs.
Mm.
Oh, we're having layoffs. Oh, I'm about to get, and it can spiral. And anybody who's in a who's like zoned out right now during this podcast, snap out of it. You're not getting laid off.
That's
But
so funny.
but see how easy that was right there too. If someone's listening to this podcast right now and they zoned out while they're driving, and I just delivered a message about being unemployed, that's how easy it is for us to pick up messages, whether it is you heard remember subliminal messages when we were kids, it was a thing. It really is something that can happen. It happens all the time.
It makes me wonder about sales and marketing and some of those. Like, I'm like, do timeshare people really secretly hypnotize you? And then you end up buying this overpriced thing that you can't ever get rid of, right?
Never get out. Yeah, right.
I'm just like,
It's exactly how it works. I mean, you think about it, it plays on all aspects of your senses and that sort of thing. It's people, the dieting industry is like a huge one. You think about all of the different ways that it keys into, when I talk to people, I tell them that subconscious mind is your expectations, your memories, your associations. Associations are huge when you think about how you associate different foods with different feelings. And so you're trying to diet, and let's just say grandma's chocolate cake was like one of your favorite things, and a memory comes up about grandma, and you're like, I could use some chocolate cake. That's not, I mean, that's how it happens. And so if you've decided that you're going to have on a healthier lifestyle, and that comes up, sometimes it's so powerful it overtakes you, and that's where people like quote unquote fail at a lot of their health goals and all of those different things, is because the subconscious mind takes over, starts driving the bus, and before you know it, you're doing something you didn't want to do, but it happens.
well, I just have to say that any temperature below 50 degrees Fahrenheit is hypnotizing Cajuns to make a gumbo. It is a known fact. It's like, because it's gumbo season. Like, gumbo's warm and comforty. And yeah, Michelle's looking at me like I'm crazy. Okay, Michelle,
But it's
let's talk.
hot. Is gumbo season right now in the summer?
No, below 50
Oh,
degrees.
okay.
Below when it
Okay.
gets chilly.
Oh, okay. All
I
right.
don't know how to convert that to Celsius. I'm sorry.
It's
My
okay.
brain.
It's all
But
right because I do Fahrenheit. I don't do Celsius.
Michelle is the Fahrenheit girl. So Michelle just hypnotizes herself. She needs tea and crumpets in the afternoon, don't she?
I wish. I wish I could eat tea and crumpets every afternoon. So, see, I have to ask a question because, like, and it's going to probably sound really silly, but I'm just going to say it anyway because someone may be thinking it, right? Like, you get high or you get drunk or whatever. Could people think that they're in a hypnotized state in those situations? Because I was just like, well, someone could say, oh, I'm hypnotized, but I'm really high, or I'm like feeling drunk. I know
Well,
it
if you
sounds silly.
No, it doesn't. It's actually a very good question. I'm going to answer it in two ways. Number one, they are in a hypnotized state because the whole definition of being hypnotized is being highly suggestible. And when your defenses are down, you're suggestible. And so that's why, like, people who try to quit smoking and they drink and they smoke and then they start drinking and then they start smoking when they're drinking is because your defenses are down. You're suggestible. So there's that, but I don't hypnotize people that are high or who've been drinking just because of the fact it's not to me it's not as what is the word I want to say? It's not as powerful to me, or
Effective.
it's not as meaningful because when you're coming to me to now if you're coming to me to quit drinking or to stop smoking weed or whatever, then we'll have to work through that. That's something that we can talk about and work through. But, if I don't do, I guess what I'm saying is I don't do like parties. That type of thing. But yeah, you're suggestible. Anytime your defenses are down, you're suggestible, and you have to be very careful about what you're suggestible to.
I like that.
So what I remember when I signed up for coach training, I kind of had this freak out moment and I was like, "Oh my god, this is a really powerful tool." And what if I can like what then I'm going to understand human behavior and it'll like maybe I'll be able to manipulate people and I was like, "How do I feel about this?" And so I had this moment of like, "Oh crapness," right? And I can imagine and then what bubbled up for me is coaching is a tool and I very much see a parallel to hypnosis is a tool. And you can take a hammer and build a house, or you can take a hammer and smash windows, right? So it's what you do with that tool that really matters, and the ethics and the standards and your integrity is really what kind of determines the outcome of your work with that tool. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's, the movie industry has done a really damaging job, I think, sometimes of the hypnotherapy world or a lot of coaching worlds, a lot of modalities and things like that of people using it for people to go rob banks and things like that. But I tell clients, I'm like, if I tell you in a state of hypnosis, and I'm going to give you an example really quick. It's actually really funny. So Amy, if you're out there, sorry, I'm telling your story. Um, but if I in a state of hypnosis told someone you're going to go rob a bank and you're going to give me all of your money, and for you listening, if you're in a trance, snap out of it. But you would come out of it immediately. So here's an example. So when I was doing my certification for hypnotherapy, we practice on each other. There was a school of us and we were practicing on each other. And y'all, I love to be hypnotized. I love it. I already told you I like being kind of in a state where I zone out anyway. I like being in the Dory bubble, I guess. And so I zone out I'm so easy to hypnotize because I love it so much. And I know that I'm only suggestible to what I'm open to being suggestible to. And so for me, because I know that, anybody say, hey, can I practice on you? Sure, come on, let's do it. So we're practicing and, I go fast, I go deep and I go fast and I love it. And so the sweet girl that was doing the hypnosis on me, when I got to a certain point, I was like relaxed and into it and all of that. She goes, and now you can rest in peace. And I busted out laughing. No, I was deep, 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 deep in hypnosis, but my subconscious mind heard that she was telling me to rest in peace. And I busted out laughing and I came out of the state and I couldn't go back in. So that's it. I mean, as deep as I was and as what my subconscious mind thought it was hilarious, she was telling me to rest in peace. And I came out of it. So that's how easy it is. It's not like the movies, y'all. It's called abreacting to like when the subconscious mind goes, nope, kicking that out, not agreeing with that. It's important with the words we use. And if you're a hypnotherapist, using the right words is so important because you want to resonate with your client. I mentioned the word weed a second ago. Somebody else may refer it, coming to me, may refer to it as something else. I got to figure out what that word is because that's the word I want to use. If I use weed, they go, your subconscious mind, not talking to us. Let's go smoke a blunt when we're done with this. So it's like, um, again, if you're listening and you're zoning out, snap out of it. Don't do that. But anyway, that's kind of what it is.
That's a great point that you mentioned, that you have to use the right words, otherwise the subconscious is just gonna like kick it out. And the fact that you were like, rest in peace. Nah, I'm not associating with that. Thank you very much. Let's move on.
Not
I,
my time to go.
that again, that's just fascinating. That is really fascinating because I don't know, I never would have thought about that.
Yeah,
Never
it's
would have thought
very, the
about that.
mind is so powerful. Oh, that was like to me, the the mind is so fascinating. And I have an undergrad in psychology, and little did I know, many, many years later, I'd be like infatuated with the mind again and back into it and that sort of thing. But it's such an incredible, what a gift we have that we've been given to have this powerful software in our that we use, and we only use like a small percentage of it.
Mm.
Hypnosis allows you to tap into that percentage and just really like do so many things, and really quick, most people think of hypnosis as I'm going to quit smoking, and which is actually not one of my favorite things to do. But I that's how I discovered hypnosis was I quit smoking through hypnotherapy, 6 sessions, and I was done. And y'all, that's been 11 years ago. So, but it is just it's a tool that you can use to stop doing something, to start doing something, or to enhance or increase what you already have. So I've had somebody who's come to me like who wanted to read faster and interpret things faster. Or it's just tapping into that software that's inside your mind and creating like these new like neurons firing together and really changing the way that you think. And so, oh my God, I could go on forever. But yeah, so that's that. What was the question again?
Well, I was going to ask you a question because I'm like, what's the most obscure request someone has come and asked you to help them with through hypnosis?
You know what? One of my, like, I won't say the most obscure because, there's all kinds of different things. I mean, people come for anything from biting fingernails to, and that's not obscure at all. But, there's all kinds of different, like, OCD tendencies and things like that that people come to them for. In my practice, one of the things that I do mostly, though, is around emotional things and helping with people with emotions. And one of my favorites and we talked about this, Michelle, a little bit the other day when we were talking to somebody else, is as helping men, love helping men to start working with their emotions and realizing the power that they have through their mind and their and learning about emotions and other people's emotions and that sort of thing. But that is anger management is actually one of my favorites, because it's so powerful to be able to learn how to do that. So it ranges. It can help. I hate to say it can help with anything, but it can help with anything that you're willing to allow it to help with, if that makes sense.
So if you've got something that you want to change that you've always like struggled with,
Yes.
it is
And,
it
and
is
it's not about like what's so crazy for me is that, I've had so many friends who are like, I want to quit smoking or I want to do this or I'm going to do that. And I'm like, well, you know somebody who's a hypnotherapist. What, oh, no, 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 no. I'm gonna go try this and this and this is okay. I'll be here if you ever need me. I'm here. And I just kind of back out of it. To me, I will tell you, when I quit smoking with hypnotherapy, I didn't white knuckle it at all. At all. It was the most gentle, it was quick. It was just absolutely incredible. how it has become like I remember smoking, kind of, but it's such a fade. I don't have that emotional attachment to it anymore. It is such a faded memory. I mean, it's so weird how it just kind of like is like it's so far removed from who I stopped being a smoker or even an ex-smoker to being someone who used to smoke. Big difference.
Mm.
That identity's been broken, and now it's just something that like something I used to do. And it just is it's really incredible. It's powerful. It's really powerful.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's a huge shift too, because so many people use it as a coping mechanism that that's
Yeah,
their go-to.
yeah. And it's so, I don't know why as humans, and I'm sure you guys have experienced this with your coaching, when you're coaching someone too, why people have to make it so hard and make it so like it must be painful in order for me to stop doing something. It doesn't have to be.
Girl, it's
Why
our
do we punish
society.
ourselves? Yeah.
It's our society that you have to pull yourself up from your bootstraps, that if you don't work hard, like it's like that's the messaging that we get through our society, that you have to push harder in order to succeed.
Even in something that's healing you, it's got to be painful it's got to be painful in order for you to learn your lesson. No,
Makes so much sense,
no.
doesn't it?
Like the whole no pain, no gain. I mean, we're indoctrinated with all these crappy belief systems that we don't even recognize are absolute. They're based in horse poo.
That's so funny.
They're planted in manure.
That's so funny. So I have another question for you, Dory.
Yeah.
So what do hypnotherapists don't do? What do you
What do
not do?
what do I not do? Mm. Well, I mean, I'll tell you this. One of the funniest things that my late husband used to say to me was, "Can you implant in my brain? Can you implant this in there?" I don't do anything you don't want me to. Like and it's not me doing it.
Right.
I'm just the guide. I'm just the like I always tell you guys when I'm here. I'm Julie, the cruise director. I'm here to like help you go through your mind and like find all the fun facts, and all of that kind of stuff. But I don't do anything you don't want me to do. And that is one of the things that when we're working together in the very beginning, I want to get to the root of is, are you ready? Why now? And that's it. So I don't do that. And there's certain things I don't enjoy. There's certain like let me say things that come through that I'm like, you know what? I'm not your person. I have a friend who does past life regression, that type of hypnosis. I will recommend her to someone that comes to me for that. Heavy based trauma. I know another hypnotherapist I'll recommend for that. Weight loss, I'll recommend another hypnotherapist for that. We all have kind of our specialties and our
Okay. You have
favorites and
your
that kind
niche
of thing.
market type niche.
Yeah, and it's a preference, It's sort of like like I said, I like working with people on like their emotional level, stress, anger, all those different things. I like helping them with that because for me, it's about finding peace. And some people, if they want to get into their trauma and things like that, fantastic, go for it. It's just it's not my area of it's just not my area of like my favorite thing to do. So I think that that's what it is. Is fine if you're looking for a hypnotherapist, it's not a one size fits all as well. Find the person that resonates with you and is really specializes in what you're looking for. If you find someone that says, I do it all, um, yes, we can do it all because it's all just about the mind and suggestions and that sort of thing. It's not that sounds flippant, but you know what I'm saying. It's about finding that right person.
Right. And
Yeah.
again, I've learned something new. I didn't realize hypnotherapists had niches because I thought it was just kind of like a one-stop shop.
Yeah. No, and it could be, again, it could be, but I think that like there's one gentleman, and I'm gonna give a shout out to Ray Pope. Ray, I love you. If you ever hear this, I love you. He is amazing with weight loss. but he's also learned through his own journey with weight loss
Mm.
how powerful it is. And so he uses that tool. And there, like I said, people, and he does everything too, but weight loss is like his signature thing. So we find kind of what our signature thing is. And then, if someone comes to me and says, but I'm definitely not here to prove anything to anybody. If somebody comes with, arms crossed across chest and goes, you can't hypnotize me, then I'm not your girl. I'm not your woman. You'll need to go somewhere else because I don't have anything to prove to anybody. I'm not here to prove that you can or can't be. I'm here to help those that are ready to help themselves.
So I have a question that just kind of bubbled up. People who I hear, I could imagine that people with ADHD or have some kind of, and I've heard that this is more prevalent. Women in midlife, our masking tendencies kind of dissolve. And so ADHD is pretty prevalent in midlife women, or is presenting more, even if they haven't been diagnosed. But is that kind of a, is that a barrier to working with a hypnotherapist, or other neurodivergent individuals?
It's interesting because I've worked with a couple of neurodivergent people myself, and I love working with them because I love being able to help them in different ways to be able to find a focus or to be able to find, what it is that they're looking for and when they felt like all other avenues had been closed off. Um, it the subconscious mind is always listening. So even if I have someone and I've had a client before who like fidgets the entire time, fidgets, I just keep going. I just keep going and I keep, talking and then, allowing them to find whatever comfortable position. The way I say is just come as you are, and then we'll work with who you are and the way that you need to be with and the way that you need to be talked to. So, um, to answer your question, it's not harder. It just requires different ways of working and different techniques when it comes to neurodivergent, ADD, that sort of thing. It's meeting people where they're at and not trying to, when I first started working with neurodivergent, it was me trying to use my old techniques that I've used on other people, and then I realized it's not working. I've got to do something different. And so I find out who the person is themselves and go, what is it? How do I need to deliver the message? Some of it is very direct. It's very, very direct. And I have to pull out kind of like my not so kind and flowing voice into more of and now you're this and now you're this and a little bit more direct and it cuts through all of the ADD bullshit or all of the other like the stuff that's going on in their mind and just cuts right through it and gets to it. So it just is you use a different technique for different people.
That's fascinating.
It is, right?
Yeah.
I've learned
S-
quite a lot.
So I have like two big takeaways from today. Can I just randomly share? If you have takeaways, I'll go
Yes,
first.
please.
Is one is your brain has boundaries even if you don't realize it. So your subconscious is going to say hell no, if it
Kick it
needs
out.
to. Yeah. Like so many people are like, I don't have boundaries, blah blah blah. I'm like, maybe you do, and you just don't realize what they are. Or yeah. But when you're hypnotized, your brain will certainly be like, that's a boundary, absolutely not, kick it out, right? Reject.
Hmm.
And that I hadn't even thought about, like, the difference in techniques of neurodivergent and still being able to work with people with ADHD. Because I think that people that are experiencing issues with executive functioning and all, they just feel trapped and like there's nothing I can do. But hypnosis could be something that could help you.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I had no idea until just a few minutes ago.
All right, we'll be ready for the uncomfortable question.
sure.
All
Michelle's
right.
favorite part.
If hypnosis could help you release a habit or fear that's quietly running your life, What story would you still cling on to so you don't have to try it?
Mm.
So I would just say that I have a fear of heights. And I never used to, because I did a hike um, many moons ago. I would think I was 18 and I was in Yosemite. And I literally lost my footing, and then I looked down and I was just like, holy shit, like that could have been me at the bottom of the ravine type deal. And ever since then, I have had a fear of heights. And I also probably think it's also vertigo, mixed with vertigo as well. But I know like I'm missing out on many things that are tall. And going to tall buildings and then looking, I mean, I am like a hot mess, and my heart is just like racing. So I'm probably not the only one who feels this. But I wish maybe I need to get some hypnotherapy to just kind of knock it out the park. So then I can go and climb Kilimanjaro or something silly like that and not think that I'm gonna like fall off a ravine or something. I don't know. Um, so yeah, it's not, I mean, I don't say it's running my life, but I just avoid, I mean, even going in a plane, it's okay. But, part of me is just like, shit, I'm like really high up in this air. But, I know that I have to get on a plane to get to somewhere. So, it's not as bad. But yeah, I don't like
But
heights.
what would keep you stuck? So that's the second part of that question.
I mean, me not trying. I mean, I'm not. That's what I'm saying. I'm not being adventurous and like going on hikes or anything like that because that it's just that anticipation. It's like what if we go somewhere and we've got to go on like some thin ledge. So I stay away from it. But I love hiking.
So, okay, so I if I'm reading the question right, what would keep you from trying hypnosis to fix that?
Oh, what would stop me from maybe the fear of doing hypnosis to then to then master my fear. I would just not do it. I would just not hike. But I'd love to do it. But then I think I'm probably also scared that I might cluck like a chicken.
Ah, well,
But
challenge accepted.
you could trust
Look,
Dory.
you know what? I too have a fear of heights, and I will tell you, for me, it's not been a priority.
Mhm.
As human beings, we're like layers of an onion, right? We have so many different things that go, um, that we work on and uncover. And here's the other thing with hypnosis. If somebody comes to me and gives me a list of things that they want to work on, I've got to pick one. Do one at a time. Now, sometimes doing one thing seems to heal other pieces. Like I've had people come in who came to stop vaping, and she didn't stop vaping, but you know what? Other areas of her life started coming together. So sometimes it's about pulling that little thread, and other parts of the sweater start to like just come, like it's so. Yeah, for me, I feel you, Michelle. I don't know if it's like something inside my head that says I'm gonna just go crazy and jump off the side. I used to have a thing on driving over bridges like that too. Like I was like, I'm just gonna drive off the bridge and just go, nuts or whatever. So
Isn't that
that was not,
Desiree's story?
I think it is. I think
What,
Desiree has
driving
a
off the
bridge thing
bridge?
too.
Didn't you have a bridge
Um,
story, Desiree?
Yeah, and
Yeah, see?
the Mississippi River Bridge
There we
bounces.
go.
yeah. Yeah. So I think that but for me, I will say right now, it's just not a priority for me. I have hiking is not my thing. So I went hiking once in Sedona with my late husband and the kids, and we went and we were climbing up this thing. Climbing up is like one of my things too, like up. I jumped out of a plane for crying out loud, and it was not a problem. I went skydiving and I loved it. And I'll do it again, but climbing up, it just was like a thing. And they were like, thank God you didn't go later because the trail got like sideways like this, and Sarah slid and all of this kind of stuff. And like, I was like, but it's just not a priority for me because like I said, hiking is eh. So anyway, Desiree, what about you?
If I could, like, there's a couple things I would like to work on, like having a less cluttery, like being able, I get overwhelmed and then I shut down, right?
Mm,
So, um, and I've always just felt like, oh my God, I can't, I'm just a messy person. But I'm not an unclean person. Like I clean things. It's just, um, like I just get overwhelmed with paper and stuff. And so being able to be like, okay, how do I fix this? Or I mean, I would come to you with Santa's wish list from the Sears catalog of all the things I want to change about myself, and you'd be like, Desiree, you gotta pick one. Um, but yeah, I feel, because I've gone through periods in my life where I've exercised consistently and been in excellent shape, and then I just fall off the wagon, or I eat right and I feel amazing, and then I'm like, I want a cheeseburger and some tater tots. So yeah, like, but I think that starting with a feeling, being consistent in some of that good pattern behavior, and also like not getting overwhelmed when facing an insurmountable task. Um, and for right now, it's going through some piles in my house that need to get cleared out. Um, but yeah, so it would probably be habits and things like that. I'm lucky enough to not have jumped in the pool of like smoking and stuff like that. So that's really the stuff that I would like to change through hypnosis. I also think like there's a y'all, when you if you ever decide to go into business for yourself, it is a whole lot of inner work and brain stuff that comes up. Oh yeah, Michelle, the look of she
Seriously.
knows what I'm talking about. So maybe some of those things. I mean, but I think that what is keeping me from actually jumping in that pool, Dory, because I mean, I do know a hypnotherapist. It's almost like we know her and talk to her often. Um, is this belief that I can never change, that I can never be a different person, that's just that's how I'm hardwired, which is probably something that you could work on in hypnotherapy.
yeah. It definitely, the hardwired thing is that think about just really quick, think about like your mind, your brain, your body is regenerating all the time. New neural pathways. We built new ones today that have wired together, that are fired together, wired together. Now, whether you continue to think about those things, they can unwire and then go back. So people, I say this, people can change their entire personalities. You can change who you are, you can change everything about you. It's just, is the desire for all of this stuff that we've talked about this more today with the, things holding us back. Is the desire strong enough for you to want to make that change? For me, the fear of heights right now, the desire is just not strong enough for me to like say it's something I'm willing to invest my time in, but I've got clients that come to me. I do like fear of flying people. That's one of my favorites to work on too. But, people that want to travel and they're afraid of flying and that sort of thing, life is, that gets in the way of them experiencing life. Then come and let's work on it. Let's get it. But that's the big thing to consider is it now, and why now?
Got it. Okay, who's got quotes? I
Oh,
I've got
go
one.
ahead.
Okay.
Be patient with yourself. Self growth is tender, it's holy ground. There's no greater investment. And that's by Stephen Covey.
Be patient with yourself. I love that.
Mm-hmm. I do too. Because we do have to be patient with ourselves. I just think I'm not as patient as I should be. But who's next?
That's where you go.
To change, this is from your fave, Joe Dispenza. To change is to think greater than how we feel. To change is to act greater than the familiar feelings of the memorized self, which I think
Mm.
is what the root cause of hypnotherapy is, or the goal of going through hypnotherapy.
I've got one from Bob Proctor. I love, love, love Bob Proctor. Faith and fear both demand you believe in something you cannot see. You choose. So
Ooh,
anything that you want, you choose. And that's such as it is with hypnotherapy. You choose.
Ah, what a great ending. What a great ending. Okay, what are we talking about next time?
So next time, hold
We
on.
are
My brain just went on like something weird. Okay. We're going to talk about, I believe, and tell me if I'm wrong, from helping young adults launch. So that is correct,
Yes.
yes? Okay,
Yes.
awesome. Okay, so we're gonna help young adults launch. This is something I know that's near and dear to our sweet friend Michelle's heart. She helps them all the time, and is an expert in this area. So I look forward to actually putting her a little bit more in the hot seat and hearing a little bit more about this because it is such a hot topic today's day and age. We have a lot of young adults who are staying at home, um, whether by so many different reasons. We'll dive into that deeper next time.
yeah.
Yeah. It makes me a little happy that I mean, I feel like it's a harder world to launch into
Oh my gosh,
these
Yes,
days than it
much
was for
harder.
it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to unpack all of that fun all of that fun baggage and details in the next episode of Life Coaches Unfiltered. But we thank you for joining us today, and we hope to see you back in 2 weeks when we chat with Michelle about young adults launching into the world. Y'all have a
Yes.
great week.
Bye, everyone.
I
Thanks for tuning in to Life Coaches Unfiltered. If you love this episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, or follow us on social media. Got a question you've been afraid to ask? Send it our way at lifecoachesunfiltered@gmail.com. Until next time, keep growing, keep questioning, and stay unfiltered.